Good morning and welcome to another Pure Theory Crafting from Marvel Avengers Alliance 2. This morning is all about destroying my own credibility and making you doubt anything I say from here on out. Why? Because I've chosen to go over She-Hulk. And right now Jennifer Walters does not get a lot of love from the community. She's often called the worst hero in the game. I don't know that that's true. I feel that she does have some uses, and I feel that in certain realms she does definitely hold her own. Do I think she's at the top of the list? No. No, I don't. For one thing, she lacks a lot of the versatility that I really like to see in heroes that I do in pure theory crafting. But because she is a hotly debated character in a lot of ways, nobody defends her as saying she's top of the line, but there are a lot of people who say no, I find uses for her. No, I enjoy her. And then there are others who call her absolutely bottom of the line, and several other far more negative terms that I'm simply not going to repeat on here. Today I'm going to look at her in depth, and we're going to see if we can't figure out why she doesn't stand out from the crowd. We're going to see if we can understand her moves maybe a little bit better and check some of the versatility that she does have, because she does not play like a stereotypical bruiser. She sacrifices some of their strengths to shore up two of their single biggest weaknesses as a class. Much like Drax is strangely tough for a scrapper, and Nebula is far more infiltrator-like than you would expect for a scrapper. She-Hulk is far faster and more accurate than you would really expect from most of the bruisers in the game, especially from a Hulk character. So without further ado, let's bring her up. Over the course of the past couple days since I did the video for Falcon, I have sunk the resources into She-Hulk and gotten her up to 3-star solely for the purpose of this video, because I wanted to test her, because I wanted to see if she was so utterly useless that I couldn't do anything with her. And given that I've accomplished enough of her trials to get her to 3-star, I'm gonna put forth and say, no, I did find uses for her. No, I did find teams that worked for her. Are they necessarily conventional? Are they the strongest teams I've put together? No. But they're also probably not the worst. And they have cleared content. Taking a look at her stats, 2,000 attack. That's pretty good, pretty solid for a level 33 star character, yet still having nearly a 2,000 defense and a 2,000 health. It's her speed, her accuracy, her evasion. Those are actually about average. I've seen stats lower than that on a level 33 star character. But take a look at her leader's bonus in there. Yes, she gets the 10% health bonus that makes her health the highest kind of base stat as long as she's a leader. But the 10% speed, she starts to bring that up. And we're going to take a look at her passive and her resource together, because she's a rage character. And this is the first video I've done for a rage using character. Rage is always, so far, and this may change in the future, rage is always tied to the passive of the character. And for She-Hulk, it is an up to a 25% increase in accuracy and speed as her rage bar fills. Now, this is a direct correlation, like percentage correlation. Every 10 points of rage, every 20 points of rage equates to about 5% overall in terms from speedy trial. If you were at 50 rage, you're actually going to be sitting at about 12% in both, because it seems to drop any kind of fraction. The real cutoff then would be something like 40 rage, where you gain 10% to attack and speed, and you will actually be able to see that in her character. You'll see that the percentage bonus next to those stats, if you take a look at her in combat, will be like some odd number, like plus 11. Or if she's got strength, or if she's got a adroit, you might see like plus 37% for her speed if her rage is half full. Rage is built in two ways. Some of her moves and her tactical will generate small amounts of rage, usually not more than 20, mostly starting at around 10. Being attacked builds rage faster, generates more rage when you're hit, as well as from doing your attacks. So, like most rage users, not all of them, because I don't believe Drax can do this, but like most bruisers and like most rage users, she has one protection move. We'll take a look at the abilities here in just a sec. The one thing I'm going to point out, that protection move has a cooldown. Since Protect is only a medium duration buff, it is very, very hard for She-Hulk to maintain that protection buff full time. Instead, for most people, it's going to be a way to bring her health back up, because it includes a heal, and to generate a burst of rage before somebody else either takes over tanking or you let it fall off and kind of rely on just having tougher heroes. We'll see that She-Hulk is actually fairly tough the longer a fight goes on. Like most rage users, she starts out a little bit slower and really builds up as combat goes. So let's take a look at her abilities pretty quick. I've got most of them. I've never gotten this to drop from the epic boss. One of the epic bosses does actually have this, and I think it's Epic Ultron. Can't remember. Assault. This is meant to be paired with the next ability on the list, and we'll see how well the two complement each other. This is a normal speed attack. It doesn't get faster on its own, but it is unarmed, and it applies Clobbered. Like all unarmed attacks, it will gain not just the 25% damage increase, but it gets a little bit faster when used against an enemy who already has Clobbered. It generates 15 rage by default, and that can go up to 20. And it's at 3-star that you'll really begin to see the use of this, because 4-star just adds a little bit more to its damage. And let's normal speed attack, 189 damage, not bad. A lot of times that we see that, when we've looked at the other characters in their videos, I look at about 120 or so seems to be normal for a fast attack. 160 or so seems to be normal for a normal speed attack. And then you're pushing 189 to 200 on slow speed, more often than not. So 189 on a normal speed attack is pretty solid damage. Now, her attack does not become her highest stat, even though it starts that way. But because it starts as her highest stat, it's never truly low. So she can hit fairly hard with this particular move. But the big thing is the 100% chance to apply Clobbered. She is not really a candidate for the experimental EISO set. The offensive debuffs that she applies are typically 100% by default. That 20 rage and applying Clobbered. Clobbered is a tactical debuff. She-Hulk, queen of tactical debuffs. That is really the only thing she does. It's the only thing she even cares about. And the reason why is because if you're going to have Assault, you've got to have Battery. She-Hulk is a list of, courtroom-inspired, I won't quite call them puns, but obviously that's where they're pulling the names from. Battery, 20 rage, which means that it can be generated by a single assault, starting at 3-star. This is a slow speed move. It does not get faster on its own, but it is designed to be used against individuals already hit with Clobbered, which increases the speed. Slow speed. Remember I just said about slow speed moves being something I would expect closer to 200? This breaks 350. In Spec Ops 2, the epic Iron Man fight, She-Hulk is there in the first wave, and while I had a team set up and I had a strategy that let me beat him consistently without spending gold, but it involved 2 tanks. I brought out Wasp in the first round so that she could survive long enough with her class bonus, survive long enough for me to kill War Machine. And I had to burn him down quickly, because as soon as She-Hulk built up her accuracy with the rage bar, one use of Battery ripped ripped Wasp apart. Barricading didn't save her. This move killed her outright. This move has finesse. It does not consume resources on a critical hit. We've already seen that She-Hulk builds her accuracy with her rage bar. Not her attack. She builds accuracy. The plus 50% damage if the target has a tactical debuff. This is meant to be used with Clobbered. 25% from Clobbered plus 50% from this. 75% increase on 365 damage. This is like a 550 damage move. And with finesse, you can start to spam it. For low heroes who are for low level commanders who are just starting out, and She-Hulk is one of the early heroes they get, these two abilities should probably be focused on in tandem when you're leveling up. And use her as a source of unarmed DPS behind your tank. Don't rely on tanking with her. Instead, try to apply Clobbered, make use of Battery. It really does hit that hard. I have this move equipped. It's not terribly bad. As far as tanking moves go, it's a protect and it's a major heal. Now, it says fast right there. That's because it's 3-star. It does, I believe, start at 1 star. It is a normal speed move with a 3-turn cooldown. There is no way that you can keep up protect constantly with She-Hulk. At 3-star, that starts to change. That 2nd star jumped it to fast. The 3rd star dropped its cooldown to 2. Ideally, I would get this to 4-star to make it very fast and use it with fast moves. Done that way, it is in fact possible to keep protection up the whole time. Her tactical is very fast. You can use her tactical as a filler round if you're trying to focus on keeping protection up with her. She-Hulk is not meant to be a main tank. The purpose of this is really to build rage for her. I will point out that the major heal that's on here is among the most powerful heals that I've seen in the game. She-Hulk fully E-ISO'd at level 33-star, breaks about 3,500 health, but she doesn't match. Like Age of Ultron, Captain America, or Moon Knight, who hit like 4 or 4,500 health. She doesn't get that high. Now her leader's bonus does give her about 10% more. But even then, she typically doesn't quite break 4,000 health. That major heal can heal for over 2,000 by itself. And if she's sitting at 3,500 health, that's about 50 to 60% of her overall health on a single heal. It is among the most powerful individual heals that I've seen in the game. This, like, among the highest value. I don't know what makes it different from other major heals, but I've not seen anybody else match it. Kangaroo Court, the first of 2 area attacks that she has. Costs 25 rage, that can drop, I believe. Yes, all the way to 4-star to do it, but you can drop it to 20 rage. Applies Stumbling. Now, Stumbling, again, there's that 100% chance, not a candidate for experimental. The damage here, not very high. Although the speed can drop to normal, 124 on a normal for an AoE is not bad. I was saying about 160 for a normal is a pretty good damage on single target. So 124, 125, that's not bad for an AoE. And Stumbling is about a star level and a half's worth of evasion drop on a character who builds her own accuracy and who has a finesse move, which means that whenever she crits, she's getting her rage back. This is a tactical debuff. This can be used to set up for Battery without using Assault. It won't get that 25% increase or the speed increase from Clobbered, but this can be applied to the entire enemy line and allow you to chain one assault after another, because every enemy already has the tactical debuff on them, and your chance of getting a crit just goes even higher with Stumbling on the enemy. It is a blast attack. If you are running a group that can apply Volatile, This makes for a fun pair. It is one of those moves that I kind of wish that I had higher, but I'd really need it at like 4-star to make use of it right. And the reason why is that I have put her side by side with MODOK before, and when you do that, MODOK is capable of applying enemy-wide volatile, and this can set that off. No cooldown, just has the rage cost, only thing that limits it. Long Arm of the Law. This is an amazingly powerful move. Slow speed, doesn't get faster, but it's unarmed, benefits from Clobbered. Really benefits from Clobbered because of the exploit schemes, 50% if the target has a tactical debuff. This starts to build on itself and become ridiculously powerful. It does require 20 rage, it does use up your entire rage bar, and it should be used as close to full rage as possible. If you spend your 100 rage, the damage on this goes up by 150%. If you do this against an enemy who has a tactical debuff, like Clobbered, 200% damage increase. Clobbered is going to add another 25% on top of that. Because reasons. Let's do it. Let's just go with that. The big thing is, as we look at the damage overall, 373 at 4-star. Yeah, it's a slow speed move. But set all this together, and you're looking at triple the damage rating. This is one of the moves that can actually pass the equivalent of 1,000 damage rating. This move can kill. It can rip right through a higher powered boss. We'll see off of her next AoE off her next area of effect, that she has another way to make this even more devastating. And it's not with the use of Clobbered, it's a different tactical debuff that she herself can apply. Swift Justice. This move I like. And if you're playing a free attack team, this is one that she's going to bring, much like Rapid Attack, much like Sweet Christmas. This causes her to follow up with 1 to 2 free attacks. There's a chance of this. It's not guaranteed. But on average, she's going to get about 1 free attack that follows this. Its base damage, not terribly high. But 138 on a fast is acceptable. Anything above 120 on a fast move, I will take. Right now, 114 on a normal speed move, not great. But by the end of it, when that speed increase kicks in, perfectly fine. Especially on an unarmed move, anybody with Clobbered is just going to make this faster. Generates Rage. Starts at 10, goes up to 15. Not quite as good for rage building as Assault, and really is going to play more on a free attack team than it ever will on what you would think of as a traditional unarmed team instead. This is a move that I'm currently using, but it's because of a team composition while I'm testing her. Its base damage not very high. Those extra free attacks, those are what are going to bring it in. Her free attack, nothing special. It's a single hit, melee unarmed, does not apply any debuffs. Works well against Clobbered, works even better against enemies with off balance. So your free attack teams will make use of this potentially as a chance for a rage builder. Her free attack does not generate rage. That is one thing that I will clarify. This will generate up to 15. These extra free attacks, not going to add anything to that. I don't know why it puts those two out of order because I don't have either one of them. Bar Exam. Her other area attack. Wide open all enemies. That is a fantastic thing to see. It is blunt. Because she is actually hitting them with, in this case, take a look at that. That is a telephone pole. She's a Hulk. I mean, she may not be as bulky as the two actual Hulks. She's still a Hulk. Speed is slow. It does go up to fast. And I would look at this as needing to be up towards fast to really make heavy use of it. This is a great setup for other moves because Wide Open is a tactical debuff. All of those lovely, lovely things that just do more damage based on tactical debuffs, they're going to benefit from this. And the accuracy increase on a character who already can stack her own accuracy reasonably well will cause things like Long Arm of the Law to cause ridiculous amounts of damage. I've tested her as an ally. I've fought against her in PvP. I've fought against her in she doesn't use Long Arm of the Law, thankfully, in the PvE battle. Her use of battery is bad enough. But Bar Exam is a great overall setup move. It does have a 1-turn cooldown, so you're going to use it maybe every other. But 20 Rage is not a high cost. Damage not very high. You're making up for that with the AoE Wide Open. Protect and Serve. This is the one that comes off one of the epic bosses. I still can't for the life of me remember which one it is. Guardian Maneuver. It's the only one she's got. She does have the ability to protect. Her protection doesn't generate any rage on its own, but being attacked is going to generate rage. This costs 50. It's expensive. Overpowering and Guardian Maneuver are going to add to a potential of 75% increased damage. We can already see down there. This is just a high damage move base. This does build up to being just shy of 1,000 by itself. Does suffer from an accuracy penalty. Being blunt, it doesn't gain any speed from unarmed. This is something that would be maybe a little bit of a team-based one. If you're using characters who apply Crushed, Civil War Cap, who you'll see on one of my teams here, does apply Crushed as part of his attempt to apply Off Balanced. This move can make use of that. I don't have it, and for the purpose of the video, I'd already spent enough resources on her. I did not opt to buy it, although I imagine it would work really well with him. Take a look at her tactical and innate. Her tactical generates 10 rage very fast, applies rampaging. Because she really only has one ranged attack. Everything else she does is melee. Now, is she likely to lose rampaging if she starts trying to tank? If she puts up protect? Yes, definitely. But the rest of the time, if you're bringing her in as your DPS, rampaging is only going to help. She does not have any clever maneuvers. She has nothing that will increase further by having a mental buff, but 40% damage is 40% damage. We've already seen just how high the damage rating on some of those abilities go. Another 40% on top of that, icing on the cake, just makes it better. Can this be easily removed by area of effect attacks? Yes. Yes, it can. But that's always the case with rampaging, and the ability to just kind of bring it for yourself, generating rage as needed. It is a very fast move. If I'm running her as a protector, if I'm trying to keep protect up as best as I can, this move helps a lot just for the speed of it. Remember what I said about killing my own credibility? I have tried running her as a protector. It's funny. Defense Attorney. This is one of those things that make people, because I've had a couple of questions to me about this. Defense Attorney is the innate that causes people to look at her and say, let's bring her with Agent 13 and Civil War Cap. Because she starts to take 50% less damage as soon as she drops below 50% health. Pair that with Civil War Cap's covered. Pair that with a barricading EISO. And look at that heal that comes on her protect. It's already capable of restoring half her health flat. If she drops to 50% health, but is able to throw that protection back up, she's going to jump back up into the 80s and 90%. She may heal all the way to full. So this is a very strange innate for a defensive one, in that it requires you to have lost health before the defensive aspect kicks in. It does equate, especially with barricading, it does equate to about a 50% increase in her overall health, because it takes twice as much to kill her once she drops below 50%. You really need the barricading EISO to take full advantage of this, or something else that's going to minimize how much damage she takes on each individual shot. Something like covered. Uh, EISO slots. She's got 3 blue defensive slots. She also has 2 white speed slots. This is why I said her speed doesn't stay that low. Her defense becomes respectable 2 green slots for health. Her defensive stats are actually not bad. And speed, boost it with 2 more EISOs, then boost it by her rage and her leadership bonus. She is a remarkably high speed character for a bruiser. Now, those who played Marvel Avengers Alliance won. She-Hulk was an early bruiser, and she didn't get a whole lot of love there either until she got her worthy outfit. But she was remarkably fast for a bruiser. On the very first turn of the combat, the first thing she was going to do was give herself 2 turns. And then she was going to chain a stun and an exploit stun back to back. So they kept that nature of her character. She keeps the high health, she keeps the high defense you expect of a bruiser, but she bolsters it with a ever increasing speed. The longer the battle goes on, the faster She-Hulk gets. 1 attack EISO, because why not? Let's round it out. She gets nothing for accuracy. Accuracy becomes very, very important as a secondary stat for her. Her evasion stays pretty low. Even if you're going to run her as a tank, maybe build it up only somewhat. Because you're not going to see a huge increase overall. But build her accuracy, because the higher you can get it from here, the more that 25% is going to bring it up even further. Now I'm going to throw a bunch of completely random ones in here. Let's just, whatever gives her better stats, right? Isn't that how I normally do it? Taking a look at that accuracy increasing. I don't really care about having a coordinated set per se on her. Accuracy. Accuracy. Oh, those are going to be more or less the same thing, so let's go ahead and just do the set bonus for Unstoppable. 5-star. Missing accuracy for some reason. Oh well. We'll still throw it up there. It grants everything else. Her accuracy is already boosting up there. And let's swap out for attack ISO. Now, I'm deliberately not building sets for her. We could try to give her barricading or something like that. I'm just going to go straight for stats on this one. Take a look at the final stats there. She does break 4,000 defense. She has a fairly solid defense. Her evasion, it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. Accuracy, even fully kind of kitted out there, doesn't necessarily look terribly high, but another 25% on top of that is going to cause it to break 3,000 and possibly pass her base attack stat. High health, high defense, pretty high speed, 3,500 speed on a bruiser. Now, I threw a bunch of stuff in there. Some of these are 3 slots, some are 4, some are 5. I didn't look at set bonuses. I just so I didn't throw in things that you would think of with set bonuses to take advantage of her in that way. Why am I going through all this effort? Because I'm going to do something maybe a little bit dumb. I'm going to go back to what I have brought up, and I'm currently looking at the epic boss Baron Strucker fight. Now, Baron Strucker is... Everybody remembers this fight because you had to get through the Hydra 4 to do it. And if you can look at the way my team is, can you predict who I brought with me? Obviously, Civil War Cap. But while I kept Moon Knight and Iron Fist in the reserve, and Iron Fist works really well with those two because of his ability to apply off balanced, although I don't have that move on him, and his ability to apply clobbered. Lots of free attacks there. MODOK is who I brought. 2-star MODOK. Let's take a look here. Let's see just how poorly I fare. These are not fleshed out characters. These are characters who She-Hulk just hit 3-star yesterday. Civil War Cap hit 3-star this morning. And MODOK is still 2-star. These are not top of the line characters that I'm bringing into an epic boss battle. This is one of the harder fights in the PvE content, not counting Spec Ops 2, because I can't bring Civil War Cap to it. Um, but I wanted to test it. I wanted to see what I could do with it. I wanted to see if I could do anything with it. Let's go ahead and throw up her protection. Let's have them go focus on her. It's entirely possible that with 2 blasters, they're going to kill her in the first turn, but I wanted to see what happens, because it can be funny. Oh, he is such a ridiculously massive threat. Those who play Wasp as their tank are kind of afraid of him because of just how hard he does hit. There's the counterattacks. MODOK's primary role in this is that shield and inspired. Now, even with all of those and all of the random damage that he just did there, the biggest purpose of that is let's go ahead, let's get unyielding, and it removes most of those debuffs from her. Now, speed is an issue for her. Those defensive moves get faster the farther we go. Now, look how fast her rage bar is already filled. I could potentially use Long Armor Law to do some serious damage right now, but we're going to see about setting up there. If she can survive this next round of shots, then she's going to be able to heal back up, and you'll see just how strong that heal is. Before the other characters get their turn again. Let's go ahead and throw Focused on the team. You already said her accuracy isn't too bad. Wounded could be a problem. All right. Take a look at her stats now, just with that stuff. 8,500 defense. Plus the fact that since she's below half health, she's taking only half damage from all attacks and covered. 60% bonus to her accuracy. It's over 4,000. That is an acceptable accuracy for a bruiser. Her speed, 5,500. That's almost Falcon level. This girl in this team can kick up her speed and her stats very, very quickly. Now protecting's about to fall off. But that's okay, because even just by doing that, we're already building her back up to here. Now, with the 3 enemies, I'm focused more on survival. So I've been focusing on using her tactical to generate her turns faster. Let's take a look at the strength of that heal, though. 2,500. She's already back up towards the very top of her stats. Covered isn't going to last a whole lot longer, but let's go ahead and throw Crushed on him. I was really hoping for Off Balance, but I don't have his. I don't have Experimental on him, so he's not. So it's 80% for his. There's the accuracy increase we're seeing from Focused and from the Confident. We're applying that through the team. 14 damage. Past her shield. This is probably one of, if not the hardest round in this particular boss fight for these characters, for this team. There are 2 bruisers against one of the nastier bosses in there, plus just for his sheer accuracy and the number of rapid attacks he can get. Let's go ahead and replenish Safeguard, plus the cleansed aspect of it, taking that bleeding off there. One of the reasons I bring MODOK, his ability to apply shield with his strategy. So see, she's going to be able to throw Protect again before that next turn comes around. Does it seem like it's taking a fair bit of time? Sure, and it kind of is. Because I'm really kind of focused, at least in these opening rounds, on survival more so than anything else. But she's outlasted them. 2.2 thousand health. She's back up. I don't know that she's... No, she looks like she's at full. He's out of stamina. Let's throw Covered on them. I realize that fights like this drag on. I realize I'm supposed to be talking through this whole length of time. I don't think these are going to last much longer than this. Let's take a look at what happens with this. That's a 2,000 point hit kind of on its own. And I've not built her for attack. I've built her way more for defense. Let's throw up another shield just because we can. And let's send him over in there to finish off that enemy. This does start wave 2. You don't have the big bosses in this one. It's okay. We can. It's the that member of the Hydra 4 is gone, and he's one of the worst. The only other one that really can cause her problems is Tactical Force because he's a blaster. Um, let's reapply Focused. We are playing to counterattacks. Iron Fist works in this in several levels of content because Iron Fist, in place of MODOK, can spam out counters and aim for that application of off balanced. I've not done a whole lot of attacks with her. Mostly I was trying to keep her protect. In this round, I'll probably start doing a few more with her to see about killing a little faster because she doesn't have to worry so much about the boss. There's that free attack that comes afterwards. These are high defense. Like, this is a high defense individual right now. So hitting him for even 500 when he's got 5,000 defense, that's not too bad. Her free attack, not the most powerful in the world. Her ability to apply rampaging to herself, useful when you're running with a shield individual, with a shield generating character like that. Also, take note of that aspect of MODOK's strategy-based shield that he can apply. If he applies it before an area of effect attack, he will apply it to the team. Safeguard. Confident. Let's drop Off Balance. And let's see if She-Hulk can't finish him off. Wave 2 went a lot easier, a lot faster than Wave 3. Let's go ahead, throw up another Protect. I realize a large portion of this video probably going to be this fight. Would I suggest you run She-Hulk as a main tank? No. No, She-Hulk is built for damage dealing. She is an offensive bruiser, not a defensive one. She does have defensive stats. She is capable of stacking her defense to some pretty impressive levels. But really, the core of her character is meant to be a fast offensive assault. Why am I doing this? So that I can show that characters, even characters considered bottom of the list, aren't necessarily useless if we study how that character is meant to operate, so that we can playtest them to a more thorough extent. Study their mechanics, figure out, can we use this, can we exploit this, can we build this into a solid team? And for She-Hulk, yeah, I think we can. I think we can. He's gone stealthy. Stealthy's always annoying. No free attacks off that time. But he's not going to survive the fact that he hit me. Righteous Fury is such a wonderful thing when you're pairing it with a tank like this. Let's go ahead, replenish Safeguard, remove Crushed. Reapply Focused. I always do that on the turn after his shield. It's the only way I remember what he's doing. Never a bad thing to reapply Covered. If it only heals for 300, it means he's at full. And she is going to be the same thing. The entire team is now back up to more or less full health. MODOK has no ability to heal. I did at one point have him with a Rejuvenating EISO set, which was kind of his way to survive in the background. Oh, who am I fighting this round? Two blasters. This could be ugly for a sec. I'm not terribly worried about it. Since I just reapplied Covered, let's focus more on reapplying Off Balanced, because that'll be how I kill these guys. Volatile is going to be a pain. Although, let's be clear, Unyielding prevents Volatile, which I almost forgot until right now. That's one down. Yes, the Unyielding buff from... It's not the Unyielding the buff that does it. It's the fact that he also brings with him Cleansed. And Volatile is a physical debuff. He can prevent application of that to the team When you're fighting blasters, volatile and wounding are two of the biggest debuffs that you're going to be hit with. Nothing really prevents wounding. It is not a typed debuff. Doesn't say tactical, doesn't say physical, doesn't say any of that. This video probably going to drag on a little longer than I would like. We're going to go back. We're going to kind of take a look at some builds as this fight wraps up. This guy's going to die very quickly here. Yeah, okay. Faster than I expected. Already on to Baron Strucker himself. And yes, out of testing, I use these three to clear uh, the entire mission, not just this individual fight. I use these three to clear the Hydra 4. All of them in the same fight. If I can pull this off and actually kill Epic Baron Strucker with it, that means that these three, as 3 and 2-star heroes with mostly like 2-star abilities, I think, yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is the only one I've got at 3-star for Cap. I don't know if, yeah, Safeguard is still 2. Um, it, it's definitely possible. It's amazing how many characters have some real potential versatility in PvE that people ignore because they're looking at PvP. So, would I bring She-Hulk in as a primary PvP character? No. And I probably never will. Well, yeah, let's get Volatile off her because that move I think sets it off. Is he building up his Death Swords pretty solidly? Sure. I have no idea if how much damage that the Death Spores move, whatever is associated with that, would actually do to this group. Um, he can strip off a couple of them right there. Although losing off balance does mean that he has to kind of keep going a little bit longer there. Let's try a long arm of the law. Let's see what happens with it. Knock off a couple more Death Spores. You know what? You've been boosted a couple times. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't have that move higher than maybe 1-star on him. When I bring MODOK in, I bring him in as he's a shield generator for me. I almost never use him for anything else. See? Shield generation. Look, he's back up there. Um, need to reapply cover just so I can get some stamina back. As I pointed out in Civil War Cap's video, he is kind of a stamina hog. He uses extreme amounts of it. He even uses it for his retaliation moves. Safeguard, if I had it at higher level, would eventually drop to being stamina free. It's the only move in his arsenal that really does that. Can I sneak that in before that? Yep. All right. Throw up confident. See if we can strip off some of those Death Spores. And dead. She-Hulk, main tanking, Epic Baron Strucker. No dedicated healer, just a support tactician at 2-star who's there to bring shields and give confident. And Civil War Cap to share out the damage. Not a whole lot of healing needed for Civil War Cap because MODOK is there throwing up the shields that prevent him from taking that extra damage. And She-Hulk just there stacking up her stats, building them up. There you go, the single most useless character in the game. That's what everybody calls her. They call her bottom of the line. That is really a sexy crystal. I'll take it. We'll call that my reward for actually spending 50 energy on that fight. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's go back to She-Hulk before I kill all my credibility. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've covered her abilities a little bit. In terms of builds, this is a build that I'm using just right now to tank with her. Not necessarily a recommended setup. If She-Hulk is an early character for you, if you're using her because you don't have anyone else and you just want to like clear early content, Assault, Battery, Kangaroo Court. I would give her those three. They're all 1-star. They can be raised really easily. Assault and Battery chained together and will be a boss killer for you. Kangaroo Court, the ability to apply Stumbled across the enemy line, the fact that it goes to 100% even just at 2-star, and that rare blast tag. So those of you who pick, say, Iron Man as your 7-day Avenger, or who get one of the various versions of Iron Man early on, can make use of that. Had I leveled MODOK's ability to apply Volatile to the enemy line, maybe I would have taken that with She-Hulk. Maybe I would have replaced Long Arm of the Law with that. Because I haven't built up most of her moves. This is a character who I built up to 3-star solely for the purpose of this video. But that would be an early build. Those 3 moves right there. You see my little combination for tanking. This move can probably be swapped out for something else that's fast. You saw how fast her rage generated when she's the target of attacks. I would probably have, at 4-star, I will put Bar Exam in place of that. And so that every turn on there as a fast move, she can use some of her rage to apply wide open to the enemy line and probably cause that fight to go much, much faster. I apologize for how slow that fight went, but I wanted to show that she can do it. And she can do it because of nothing more than our knowledge of the mechanics involved. What is needed to keep her protect up? What can we stack to take advantage of that strange innate that causes her defense to spike as soon as her health drops low? And the massive heal, that 2,500 point heal that comes with Exercise Your Rights. Now, if you're going to go high-level offense, for free attack teams, Swift Justice, beautiful move. Otherwise, probably Assault and Battery, still great ones. And it's really hard to get past Long Arm of the Law. As always with a damage-dealing character, I would pack 1 primary source of damage, 1 secondary source of damage, and then some kind of third move that you're bringing as support. Something like Bar Exam, something like Kangaroo Court, where you're using these 2 for your biggest source of overall damage output. If you run her with a team that can apply Clobbered, she works really well with Luke Cage. His ability to apply Clobbered and then follow up her melee attacks allow her to make very, very heavy use of Battery, even compared to what she normally would. And in terms of rage-generating moves, Assault is always the top. It will generate rage faster than any of her others. So get that up there, and then just start chaining that. Use Bar Exam if she's got the 20 rage to spend, and then take advantage of that wide open to allow Battery to take advantage of Battery's finesse so that you aren't constantly spending the rage for it. And use that to beat up on the bosses if needs be. We'll call the video there. Here is She-Hulk, the least loved bruiser in the game in so many ways. I like her as a character. I like her in comics. I wanted to like her in this game. I don't think that she's as bad as people give her the rep to be. I won't say that she's top of the line. That fight took longer than it would with some of my other teams. It really did. But I was also never truly in dire straits. The one time her health dropped right at the start, before I had all the buffs going, she pulled herself back up to full with a single heal 2 turns later. Any further questions, direct them to Alisor. If you're wondering why the heck you just sat through a video this long about a character you don't care about, look to Pantribble. I'm calling this his request. Because he posted about it on the Falcon post. So Alisor, Pantribble, this video is for you guys. This is I, Hoagland. Until my next video, I'm out.